Sonic Frontiers is a diamond in the rough among other Sonic games. The other day, I made a video explaining how it looked like this game would fix a lot of my issues with the series. I highly recommend you check that out before proceeding. Anyways, in that video I mentioned that I really didn't like how linear some of the newer games' levels have become, as they tend to feel very suffocating and ruin immersion, turning out extremely bland and easy, as well as the very simple and repetitive combat, in which all enemies are dealt with in the same way, culminating in an understimulating experience, and how each game followed the same old plot line. I predicted that this game would break all of these tropes, and I said I was planning on making another video on the game after it came out to see if it met my expectations. So anyway, the game dropped today, and I managed to get it for myself. So now, having played it, did it live up to my high hopes? Yes. In fact, this is by far my favorite modern Sonic game now. Let's go over why. Instead of bland, singularly pathed levels, this game consists of an expansive open world that grants players total agency over all of their actions by including objectives and activities spread throughout the map in an alinear way to be completed in any order one sees fit, further supported by all manner of different transportation methods. This allows players to get creative, experiment, and play their way in what is essentially one big sandbox, a gameplay style that seems to fit perfectly with the franchise. On top of this, what was once a boring, repetitive combat system has been replaced with a versatile and sophisticated gameplay element. What I mean by this is that there are now an entire skill tree's worth of different attacks and other moves for combat, which can be unlocked throughout the game and open the floodgates to all manner of unique combos and strategies. What makes this even better is that there's now a very large roster of different enemies who all need to be dealt with in different ways. This adds a great amount of variety to the gameplay. One good example would be a creature I fought that was immune to all my basic attacks because of a shield that surrounded it, so I needed to use a special ability to knock the shield off so that I could finally attack it. As a result, for the first time in a long time, this game gives the players a good challenge by forcing them to think outside of the box and use their brains. Lastly, almost all the old repetitive story beats out the window. Instead, we follow Sonic finding himself trapped on a mysterious archipelago after a search for the Chaos Emeralds goes awry. He finds that his friends have been imprisoned and he spends a good duration of the game trying to free them, which admittedly sounds a bit like Generations, but the execution is fairly different, so I'd still consider it original. All while a mysterious new antagonist watches over them from the background. Overall, an amazing improvement above all the other modern Sonic games in my opinion. I know that's a bit of a hot take, but that is just genuinely how I feel. I highly recommend it to anybody who's interested. But in the meantime, that's about it. See ya!